guys, just turning off commenting because that gets annoying throughout. You can still send me some love. Welcome to Namastay Home Yoga. We all know what's going on in the world at the moment. Staying home is key, and if that means that your yoga practice is disrupted because you can't get to a studio at the moment, here's your solution. Thanks for joining. The first couple of minutes I'm just going to give those who are joining a bit of time. Live isn't something that's super intuitive, so we might find a few people will be joining in the next 4 to 5 minutes. As we start though, I guess I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Christine, I'm a certified yoga instructor. If you find that you're beginning yoga and you're joining for the first time, or it's dusting off your yoga mat, you've actually found it, that's fantastic. Throughout the session you're going to hear me use things like if you want more, which means from the pose that we're in, it's increasing the difficulty. You'll also hear me say in this pose if it's too much, which means I'm giving you an alternative that will dial it down. In those positions or in those adjustments, what I'd say is you need to do a thing which I regularly do now. Now I do it, so be aware this hasn't been a lifelong journey of checking my ego. And when I mean checking my ego, little things like, if I give a total non-yoga example, if you've ever run on a treadmill next to me, you didn't know it, but we were competing. I was trying to beat you on time, and I definitely was trying to beat you on distance. So I will compete with anyone next to me. If we were in a yoga studio, I'm usually trying to beat the teacher, I'm trying to beat the person next to me. None of that applies. Ego should have nothing to do with yoga. Everybody's body is different. So don't try and be the most flexible person. Today is not the day to try and bend yourself into a pretzel. I mean, if it's available to you and you do the pretzel on the regular, all for it, go. But if you're like me at all, yoga has had its ups and downs in your life, but I have to check my ego all the time. And if I was a Walt Disney producer and this was some kind of studio, we'd have a swell of emotional music as I tell you my backstory. I've recently had a spinal injury, slipped 2 discs, and I have sciatica. For anyone that felt way too much medical knowledge, just imagine it's constant pain and my spine is a little bit broken-ish. So I've had to check my ego extensively because I lost loads of flexibility and had a life of pain, but yoga has been that journey that has brought me back to being able to move again. For anyone that's watching, that's joining, that did my yoga teacher training with me, hi, and thanks for watching me have those tearful moments on the mat as I became frustrated that my body wouldn't do what it used to do. So at all stages during this practice, because I can't see you, I will ask that you check yourself, you check your ego, and at any stage you think, oh, I could do more, but you're already feeling it. Your body's probably already shaking in the pose. Please don't push yourself, because if we get injuries, then the consistency goes. And we want to make sure you can practice regularly, because at the moment, more than ever, we need that connection between mind, body and spirit. We need a bit of time of reprieve. You need to make sure that you're keeping yourself healthy mentally, but physically. On that note, I think we've given people enough time to try and figure out how to balance their phone in the upright position. What I would say is, and I never know where to put my phone when I'm watching a yoga video, put your phone facing the long edge of your mat. We will be facing the same side the entire time. I'm that tricky, we won't have to try and spin around on the mat. And let's just start with some simple grounding exercises. Just get ourselves under control, make sure that we've properly landed, and then we'll jump onto the mat. If you're on the mat, please do that already. Let's come into a comfortable cross-legged position. This one's comfy for me. It's not for everybody. If you find that this cross-leg position that might give you memories back from when you were in primary school, sitting in assembly, if this isn't comfy, come up into hero's pose. So come up onto your knees, sitting on your heels. If this feels more comfortable, we can do our warm-up stretches that way. For me, I'm going to dial it back down, coming back into my comfortable cross-leg position. Hands are on my knees, and we're going to stretch, working our way down the body. We always start with the neck, and everyone that has written to me in the last probably week has told me their neck's sore, their shoulders are sore, their lower back is sore. Lots of working from home, lots of very how do I say that? They're not sitting ergonomically. Let's put the sentence structure that way. So let's start with a nice neck stretch. We're going to take our right ear to right shoulder, so bending it to the side. more. Again, ego moments. Just a little pressure. Taking your right hand just on the top of the head. Again, if you're not feeling it or you want a little more, ego moment. Taking your left hand and placing it next to you. So just leaning further away. Going to hold that for one more breath. And we're going to release the hand on top of the head. We're going to bring our head back to neutral. And we're going to drop to the other side. So left ear, left shoulder. Again, if you want a little more, you might put a little pressure on the top of the head using your left hand. If you want more, your right hand can go down towards the mat. And one more breath. Inhale, release, coming up to neutral. What we'll do now is called just neck rolls, but never rush these. So inhale to prepare, hands are onto your knees or down to the side, whichever you feel comfortable in. Inhale, and as we exhale, we're going to go chin to chest. As your chin comes towards your chest, you should feel a nice stretch up the back body, up through the back of the neck. This is probably a position or a likely position you've been sitting in at work. So we're going to roll our head, left ear, left shoulder. Rolling back, looking up. As you look up, inhale. We're going to roll right ear, right shoulder. As you exhale, chin to chest. And as you inhale, left ear, left shoulder. Rolling up, rolling back, looking up. Right ear, right shoulder. Exhale, come down, chin to chest. Inhale. Feel the lungs, looking up. Right ear, right shoulder, chin to chest, exhale. Reverse the circle. Coming back, right ear, right shoulder. Looking up, feeling the lungs. Exhale as we come down. Chin to chest. One more. Left ear, left shoulder. Start inhaling as you come back. As we roll down, exhale, and we complete the circle, chin to chest. Inhale to come up, head to neutral. Throughout yoga, I'll give you some breathing moments when it feels right. Don't get hung up on it. For many years, the breathing and then trying to remember what position I was in was all too much. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it's on that journey and you'll get there after several sessions. Okay, so at the moment, we've all been sitting mostly like this on our phones, or worse, you've been typing in the sort of Mr. Burns posture, a bit concave. So we're going to open up through the chest, through the shoulders. Take your hands, place them behind you, behind the buttocks. You're almost trying to bring your pinky fingers comfortably near each other. You don't have to be pinky on pinky. You're going to roll the shoulders up and back, really pushing the chest forward, and we're going to look up. You should feel this like your heart is coming towards the ceiling, opening up through the chest, looking up. We're going to hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on the 1, we're going to release the hands forward. Going to roll the shoulders, just give them a quick 1, 2 roll back and forth, and then we're going to warm up through the spine and the sides of the body with an easy spinal twist. So you're going to place your left hand onto the right knee. Right hand's going to dial behind me. We're going to sit up nice and tall, quite proud stance, and then you're going to just gently gaze over that right shoulder. Again, try and keep your posture quite tall, pulling up through the crown chakra, top of your head. Just gazing back. And on your next inhale, spiraling that back through, reversing on the other side, right arm, left knee, left hand behind you, just gazing back over that left shoulder, making sure we're keeping nice and tall in our spine. Just another 3 breaths. This is such a good release for all of the posture problems that we've had in the positions we've been sitting in. Okay, rolling that back through. I'm going to jump on your mat. If you're not on your mat yet, jump onto that. we're going to come into what's called a tabletop position. So, common position throughout. You're going to place your hands nice and wide. Palms are actually spread onto the mat. Fingers are splayed nice and wide. You're going to make sure that we have bone on bone on bone. This stacking of shoulder on top of elbow on top of wrist. So they're going to be underneath your shoulders, and then you have a look. This knees should be bone on bone. So again, knees under your hips, and they're going to be hip distance apart. So it should feel like a nice flat, if you're a tabletop position. So from here, we're going to do what's called cat-cows. It's a nice easy one. So as you inhale, we drop the belly down, push the tailbone back, and then we look up as we inhale. And then as we exhale, we roll through, rolling through the spine, looking towards the belly button, scooping that lower belly in and pushing the mat away. And then as we inhale, we feel the lungs, we look up, belly comes down, tailbone goes up, and then we curl it through, looking towards our belly button. Wow, this shirt's probably not the best for it. Looking for our belly button, pulling that stomach in, pushing the mat away. One more, inhale as we look up, coming up, pushing the belly down, tailbone up. And as we exhale, rolling through the spine, looking towards the belly button, making that big concave shape. And then coming back to neutral. So neutral spine will feel like your neck and all the way down to your tailbone will be nice, one nice straight line. One last release for the shoulders before we jump into some work that's going to get you a little sweaty. So with this one, it's called thread the needle. If we put our weight into our right hand, picking up our left, we're going to thread that through the gap between your right wrist and your right knee. So we thread it through and we lean down. So your tailbone comes into the air. You should feel a nice stretch across the back of the shoulders, down across the arm and side body. Holding this for 3, 2, and on the 1, pushing back up into the right hand, transferring the weight there. We're going to swap sides. So we're putting our weight into our left hand, picking up the right, threading it through between wrist and knee. And we're going to come down, ideally placing our ear onto the mat. Tailbone pushes up into the sky. Holding this for 3, 2, and on the 1, pushing back up onto your left hand. Putting both of our hands down now, we're going to push back. Oh, no we're not. We're going to warm up the body, put a little bit of heat, so we're really warm for the practice. So, starting with opposites, picking up your right hand and your left foot. Both go out in front. This may be enough for some people. Now again, this is that ego moment we talked about at the beginning. If you feel that shake already and you're scooping that lower belly in, remember to scoop the lower belly in, protecting the lower back. That might feel like enough. If so, stay here, and every time that we squeeze into the middle, I want you to pop your hands down and then bring them out. For those that want more, bring your elbow to your knee in the midline and bring it out. And again, bring the elbow in, elbow to knee and out. Now we're going to do the breath if it's available to you. Exhale as we come in. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to come in. Inhale to prepare. And on this last one, if you're doing the modified version where you're just arms out like this, I want you to pulse. Very tiny little pulses. For the rest of us, bring it in. If it's available to you, pull that knee into the chest, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on the 1, pushing it back out and releasing it down. Do you hate me yet? It's all good. Nice little abs workout there. We're going to do it on the other side. Remember, we're looking at opposites. So if you're doing both legs on this side, enjoy the advanced moves. Left hand comes out. Opposite legs, that's your right. We're going to, if it's available to you and you just think, no, I've got enough, Christine, this is enough, stay. If you want more, bring the elbow in to meet the knee, connect, and back out. And again, exhale as you come in. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to come in. Inhale to prepare. Exhale to come in. Inhale to prepare. 2 more. Exhale to come in. Inhale to prepare. And then the last one, we're going to either, if you're in this position, just pulse. But if you're with me, bring the elbow, bring the knee, pull it into your chest, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and on the 1. Releasing it back out and down. Now, at any stage throughout my practice, you think, she's lost me, I've had enough, I need a break. Completely fine. What I ask is you to come into what's called child's pose. You're just going to bring your knees a little bit wider, connect your toes at the back, and then walk your hands down. It may be that you place your head onto the ground. If you like, it feels comfortable, you might come into this position. If everybody comes down with me, just to check this one out, child's pose. Child's pose, you can bring your knees in, you can bring them wide, whatever feels comfortable to you. And you'll just take a couple of breaths here, regain control of your breathing, and then you'll be able to rejoin the practice. I'm going to come out of child's pose now. We're going to come back into that tabletop position. So arms, bone on bone on bone, wrists underneath your elbows, underneath your shoulders. We're going to tuck our toes behind. We're going to push our hips up and back into what is downward facing dog. This is our ugly dog. It's the first one of the practice, so make it ugly. Bend your knees as much as you want. Pedal your feet out. And when I say pedal, don't pedal them like you're trying to win the Olympic gold medal in cycling. Really slow, just a nice, gentle pedal on both feet. We're going to check our stance in this one. Are your fingers still spread nice and wide? Now, are the creases in your elbows facing each other? Check those. Am I trying to push my chest towards the mat? If I push my chest down and I release any tension I'm holding in my neck, you need to release your neck down. And as you do so, push your chest down, your tailbone will go up and your heels will come towards the floor. Bend your knees as generously as you want. I like to come up on my toes and rock back in this one, just waking up my feet, waking up the ankles. Whatever feels nice. From here, we're going to take baby steps, just tiny little steps forward, walking ourselves closer and closer to the front of the mat. In this position, again, bend your knees as generously as you like. We're not here to make beautiful shapes, we're here to find what's good for your body, and everybody's body is different. So from this position, we're in what's called our forward fold. So, hip width apart with your feet, or together, I don't mind, dealer's choice. Bending your knees quite generously, it's the first one, we need to wake up the body. We just want to make sure in this position, feet are spread wide, like your toes are spread wide. Your weight is into the balls of your feet. This is our first forward fold, the ugly one. So from here, check, am I storing any tension in my head? Shake your head yes. Shake your head no. It may feel comfortable in this one to grab your elbows and just dial them back, left to right, back and forth in like quite a nice little ragdoll position. Now because I'm putting the weight into the balls of my feet, just behind my toes, I won't be sinking back onto my heels, which pushes your bum behind you. Always tip towards as if you're tipping a little bit forward. Okay, from here we're going to slowly roll up, vertebrae by vertebrae, just rolling up, leaving your hands dangling down in front of you, very slowly, don't rush. We rush enough in our lives, we definitely don't need it here. Slowly rolling up, very slowly. As you come to the top, the last thing that will roll up will be your head. And as you reach the top, just give your shoulders a roll up and back, bringing them back into their shoulder sockets, up and back, one more, and then roll them forward or change directions. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're ready to go. So we're going to start with what's called Surya Namaskar. It's a sun salutation. One thing to know is that there is multiple versions of sun salutations. I'm going to do sun salutation C version, or what's really common in Hatha yoga. So we'll do it together slowly, and then you'll get used to it. In each one of the practices we'll do the same, help build confidence. So we're going to bring our toes together, our feet together, our heels together, feet are together, super together. We're going to pull energy up the front of our shins. We're going to engage our thighs. We're engaging from the back, our glutes, our bum. Nice and tight. You're going to make sure that you're pulling energy up from your hips, standing really tall, putting energy through the crown chakra of the head. You're going to roll the shoulders up and back. Hands are going to be splayed and engaged. This position is almost like your proud pose, Tadasana. It's how we should stand all the time. This is, I guess, correct posture. So really, even in this pose, before we even start moving, you should feel a shake really within your body of, oh, this is unusual. We're going to inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale, arms up. You're going to slightly bend here at the upper of your back. Nobody's not to dump into the lower back and then pushing your hip flexors forward. Just a slight back bend of your upper back. And then we're going to dive forward into a forward fold. But you're going to push your chin out. Chin leads out. Coming all the way down, don't rush. Now wherever you land, if you find you're sort of at your knees, at your ankles, bend your knees so that you can hit the mat. When you're forward folds, they don't have to be perfect, legs straight, aiming for the mat. Whatever feels comfortable here, everybody's body is different. So, hands to the mat. Bend the knees as generously as you like, stepping back with our right foot. Weight goes into the left. Right foot goes back. We're going to put that back knee down. So, you're coming into what's called a low lunge. In this position, I want you to look up, and as you do so, open the chest and roll the shoulders back. Push down through your hip flexors, so your hips are aiming to come towards the mat. Check as well that your knee isn't over, you should have a nice straight 90-degree line with your foot. If not, feel free to move your leg accordingly wherever that feels comfortable. So pushing down, make sure you're looking up, it's going to open your chest. Okay, hands come to the floor, push that back knee up, bring that front foot back to meet your back. We're in plank position now. Plank's a tricky one. Most people either sag in this one or they're overly too high. Make sure you've engaged your glutes. You've pushed the mat away and you've really scooped that belly in. Your stomach should feel like there's a shake in there already. We're going to lower down into a yogi push-up or a chaturanga from here. So as you lower down, if you're a beginner, put your knees onto the ground and then lower down. If you're used to this, you can lower down, and as you do, I want you not to rush, but your elbows are going to scooch past, scooch, is that a word? Scooch past your ribs. Release the toes, look up, and as you push up to cobra, only push up to your lower belly, your belly button. Release that down, curl the toes, push up again, and then bring the hips back to downward facing dog. From here to your second downward dog of practice. Your heels come towards the floor, chest comes towards the mat. Releasing any tension in the neck. We're going to put our weight into our right foot, bringing that left foot forward, low lunge. Again, knee goes down. Look up, open through the chest. Pick that back leg up, stepping back forward, forward fold. Weight in the front of the feet. Bend the knees as generously as you need to. We're going to rise our arms up. Open the arms like wings. Open them up. As you reach the top, just a slight back bend from the upper body and diving down again. Forward fold. Again, bend your knees as much as you need. This isn't an ego moment of how straight and how much you can look like the screen. From your forward fold, we're going to step back with our left foot this time. Weight goes into the right. Step back with the left. Left knee goes down. Low lunge. Look up. Open through the chest. Coming back down, connect with the mat. Lift that back knee up. Right meets left, plank. We're back in plank position. Tuck that stomach in. Engage the glutes. Push the mat away. Should feel a little shake through the body. If you don't, tuck the stomach in more. We're going to lower down. Don't rush. I'll demonstrate on my knees for those that are doing knee version. Lowering down. My elbows have always stayed next to my ribs. Release the toes. Pushing up into cobra. Just to the belly button. Lowering back down. Tucking the toes. Pushing back up, hips go back, downward facing dog. From this one, we're going to step forward with our right leg. Low lunge on the other side, dropping that left knee down, look up, open through the chest. Make a connection with the mat, picking up that back knee, stepping through, left meets right, forward fold. Weight is tipping forward. You're in the balls of your feet. Root to rise. Span those wings out. Up to the top. Slight back bend. And then bring your hands down to prayer. That's one version, one round of Surya Namaskar. We're doing good. Okay. From here, we're going to raise the arms up. We're going to, again, fold forward. Chin comes down, leading with the chin out. Keep the back nice and straight. Hands connect with the mat. Stepping back with the right foot. Low lunge, looking up. And then stepping back with the left. Bring that back knee up. We're in plank. I'm going to change it up for you now. Push back again, downward facing dog. So our heels are driving towards the mat. Our chest is coming down towards the floor. I'm releasing any tension I have in the neck and looking back between my feet. Don't get stressed out if your heels don't come near the floor. If you can take a look at the mat, mine don't. My flexibility isn't great. Doesn't mean you're not getting the benefit of the position. From here, we're going to put our weight into our right foot, picking up our left. We're going to kick it up behind us. The temptation in this position is that your weight will either skew open, my hips will skew open. The leg doesn't have to be so high, but the hips need to face the mat. And then make sure that back heel is driving down towards the mat. Three-legged dog. We're going to step that leg all the way through, coming through for a lunge. This time it's a normal lunge, knee stays off the back. We're going to inhale, and then as we do, we're going to come up into a high lunge. So inhale, suck the belly in, pull everything tight, dial the arms up. As you dial the arms up, bring the shoulders back and open through the chest. If it's available to you, sink down into that front knee. High lunge. We're going to hold this for 3, 2. Make sure that that front knee is not sinking in or sinking out. 1. And on the 1, we're going to plant that back foot down, opening up into warrior 2. Put your hands on your hips. Save a bit of shoulder here while I explain something. With your warrior stances, you want your heel at the front foot to line up with midpoint of your foot. You want to tuck the toes of your left foot in. If you're super flexible, 45. If you're like me, bring it in about 10 to 20, right? Just tuck it in. If you're super flexible, you want heel to your heel. So make a judgment call on where you fit on the spectrum of flexibility. For me, it's heel to midpoint of my foot. My toes are tucked in just slightly. What you'll want is your hips always to be facing to me. So that's automatically going to feel a bit, hold up, my legs want to turn that way. That's because we want you to engage your glutes, pull through the stomach, and in this position, without even moving, you're already feeling it. So, opening the arms back up for warrior 2. Another cheating point. You'll always notice that your back arm will kind of sneak down. The body's just naturally trying to protect itself from working too hard. Keep them up, work the shoulders. We're going to push through or lowering down into that left leg that's out there. We're going to look out over our left hand. We're going to pull our shoulder blades back like you're pinching a pencil between those two shoulder blades. Pull the shoulders back, open up through, really keep the fingers alight, looking out over that front arm, holding for 3, 2, sink lower, and on the 1, flip that front hand, palm to the sky, dial it back, let that back right hand sink down on your leg, look up under your shoulder, armpit, chest area, what's available to you. In this position, check, are my hips facing the camera? And sink lower in that front leg, 3, 2, and on the 1, we're going to dial our hands back like we were in warrior 2. We're going to bend our front arm and put it onto our bent front knee. Side ankle stretch. In this, make sure you're not dumping into that front knee. It's not this position. We're still keeping that strength through the core. And we're going to open up through our chest and look again under the armpit chest. Holding this for 3, 2, tuck your tailbone under, 1. We're going to dial our hands back up into a high lunge. And we're going to place our hands on our hips. Face me. Bring both of your toes in. We're coming to what's called Prasvittanasana. It's a very intense forward fold, or wide leg forward fold. If you're flexible, bring your toes in. If you're like me, they're going to be a bit like trailer tracks, just a little bit slightly pulled in. We're going to place our hands on our hips. We're going to pull out our elbows back behind us, opening up through the chest. We're going to inhale to prepare. And as we exhale, we're going to bump our hips back behind us, leading with the chin coming forward, slowly lowering down. Keep that chin looking towards me so your back's nice and flat. And then as you lower down, when you feel that you can go no further, release the hands wherever they land. If you're quite flexible, bring your hands in line with the toes or further back. If it's available to you, you can bring your head to the floor. Wow, that's amazing. What I would say to anyone is put your weight into the balls of your feet, not to your heels. So tip a little bit forward, and then as you inhale, prepare, and as you exhale, sink down. Inhale to prepare. As you exhale, sink down. One more. Inhale to prepare. And as you exhale, sink down. In this pose, if it feels comfortable for you, release the head to the floor. Options also, if you want more, is to put your peace fingers, if you're giving a peace sign, peace fingers around the big toes and pull yourself a little bit further down. Holding for 3, 2, weight in your heel into your toes, and on the 1. Everybody's to bring their hands back to the middle line of the mat, wherever that might be for you. Come up onto your fingers. Little micro bends in the knees, let's protect those. Hands back onto the hips. We're going to slowly roll back up, leading with the chin. And when you've got to the center, we're going to exhale, nice back bend, bringing those elbows together, looking up, looking back, holding for 2. And on the 1, on your inhale, coming back up to neutral. From here, we're going to reverse what we just did on the other side. So you're going to tuck those back toes in, tuck them in. Check the stance. We're going to point our right foot out, directly out. We're going to check, is our heel to heel or is it heel to midline of the foot? You may need to adjust it around, make sure that that's right. We're setting ourselves up for success in this one. Once you feel that your footwork is okay, if you want to check the distance, you're sort of like, oh Christine, how far should my legs be? If you put your arms out, roughly underneath your wrists would be where your ankles would be. Hope that helps. We're going to come into our warrior 2. So again, opening our arms out wide, checking that my hips are facing the camera, facing me. It's already starting to feel a bit, it's working hard. That's through the glutes, through the center of the body. Hold that there. Arms come out. Check to make sure that back arm isn't flopping down. We're going to bend that right knee, sinking into that one, making sure we don't follow the knee. Keep the body stacked. Heart over pelvis. Arms out wide. Looking out over my right arm, your right arm. Pulling the shoulder blades back. Extend the arms out, brighten through the fingers. Holding for 5, 4, 3. On the 2, I want you to sink lower. And on the 1, we're going to flip that front palm, the right hand, dial it back for a reverse warrior, placing our hand down the back of our left leg, looking up under our armpit chest, making sure again your body's probably cheated. Is that front knee bent? Sink into it, holding for 5, 4, 3, sink lower, 2, and on the 1, we're going to bring our arms back into warrior 2, extend them out, keep that front leg bent, and we're going to bring our forearm of our right hand down onto the bent knee. We're going to come into an extended side angle stretch. In this one, make sure your tailbone is tucked in, we're not scooping out to the back. Top arm comes across, looking up under our armpit chest. Look up. Holding this for 3, 2. And on the 1, we're going to come into that high lunge. So arms will come forward. Back toe is going to spin around. Arms come up. And if it's available to you, sink down. Naturally in this pose, your arms are going to snuggle forward. Bring that chest, open that chest. And lower. 3. For 2. And for 1, we're going to bring our hands down to the mat. We're going to release that right leg back behind us. We're going to kick it back into 3-legged dog. So bringing it back behind, all the way through, kicking it up, 3-legged dog. Make sure that both hips are facing the mat. I don't care about the height of that back leg, but those hips need to be square. Make sure that your left ankle is coming to the floor, pushing the chest down for 3, 2, and on the 1, bringing them both down, downward facing dog. Holding for 5, push the chest down, 4, heels come to the mat, 3, 2, and on the 1, release the knees to the mat. we're going to come into that child's pose we talked about originally, nice resting pose. So bring the knees as wide as the mat, connect the big toes together, sit back, and then release down to the mat. So in this one it feels nice to bring my head to the mat and my arms forward. If you feel any pain or tightness through the chest, you may want to bring your hands to a Namaste prayer position behind the nape of your neck. I'll leave that one as a judgment call. Now just regain your breath in this position. You worked quite hard throughout that practice. The next pose we're going to do is just a finishing pose, which is called Happy Baby. That's a nice one to release the lower back. It gives a nice lower back lumbar spine massage. 2 more breaths. And on the 1, press the weight back into the hands. Slowly walk the hands back towards the knees. We're going to bring our knees together, and we're going to bump our hips to one side and bring our legs back around the front. There's so many different ways of making this look pretty, not necessary. So let's bump our hips to one side. We're just going to bring our legs around to the front of the mat. Now we're going to lay down into this position, so just scooch yourself along so that it feels comfortable that when you recline, your head's not going to come off the back of your mat. So laying back down onto the mat. I'm not going to give you guys any abs today because I need people to like me. Normally I'd put in some difficult abs sections, and I know that's not everyone's cup of tea. Nishan, if you're watching, no abs, I promise. I'm going to have people like me. Right, so we're going to, from this position, bringing our right knee in, our left knee in. Let's give our legs a little hug. So anywhere that your hands will meet, if it's just placing your hands on your knees, that's fine. If you want to bring a nice little bind, grab whatever you can, and just a gentle roll back and forth across your lower back. You feel a nice lower back, lumbar spine massage there. If it's available to you and it feels good, again, everybody's different. You can bring your nose to your knees. You can release. You might want to grab tops of your knees with 2 different hands. Just do some circles. Again, we're just releasing that lower back. Lots of people have told me that their backs are sore because they're working from home on a couch or a kitchen table. Not ideal. Reverse the circle if you're doing this one with me. If you're not, you're still hugging your legs, go for it. Our final pose, Happy Baby pose. This one doesn't get featured enough. Let's just see how you feel about it. I think it's wonderful. So, we're going to reach up on the inside of our legs. Reach up to either, I like to actually grab onto the inside of my arches of my feet. I don't feel like they get enough love. Your other option is to do the peace fingers and grab through to your big toe. So I'm going to grab both arches of my feet. You're going to kick your legs up. And as you do so, your heels will go towards the ceiling, but you're going to pull down with your hands to pull your knees into your armpits. I'll repeat that one again. Knees pull down towards the armpits and heels are dialing up. Should feel like a little bit of a counter force. And in this, you can get as wild and as comfortable as you want with any rocking that you want to do. You may feel like, oh, that's enough, Christine, I just want to stay in one position. Whatever feels good for you. I think this position just feels wonderful because it's a nice release to the lower back. We'll stay in this one for 5. 4, try to regain that breath. Really long inhales in, long exhales out. 3, 2, and then on the 1, we're just going to bring our feet together, releasing them to the mat. We're going to extend the legs long, give yourself a really big stretch, arms overhead, legs out long, really big stretch, wake up the body. Oh, that feels quite nice. And then we're going to slowly come up into a comfortable seated position. As a good yoga teacher, I would tell you to roll to the side, get comfy, roll on up. Personally, I think sometimes we overarch. Come up into a comfortable seated position. We're going to finish our practice here. I kind of want some feedback as well about whether or not people would love some of the Shavasana sections. It's not really done in a lot of yoga, particularly not a home practice. If it's part of your routine, feel free to lay onto the mat, let the legs splay wide, palms facing the ceiling, and just commence with some breathing. We're going to do our Shavasana sitting. So from here, when you've joined me on the mat, comfortable seat, cross-seated position, put your hands onto your knees. For those who want to be a bit more yogi with me, join me in putting your hands into what's called Gana Mudra. So it's going to be your pointer finger and your thumb connecting. If it's available to you, feel free to close your eyes. I think it's fantastic if you can. I appreciate that maybe you can't, kids are around, housemates are around, just don't feel comfortable. Just lower your gaze, maybe look towards the floor. Me, I'm going to shut my eyes. So in this position, I want you to take a really long inhale through the nose and a big exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose and a long exhale through the mouth. There's a lot of stale air that sort of sits in the lungs. When you inhale and exhale, I want you to inhale long, and then as you exhale, I want you to exhale all of the air out. So big belly breath, inhale in. Fill that lower belly, and then exhale out. Empty, empty, empty. Exhale, exhale, exhale. All the air out. 2 more times. Inhale, big belly breath. And then exhale out all the air. Out, 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 out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. All the air out. Last time. Inhale through the nose. All the way in. Feel that big belly. And then exhale out. Out, 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 out. All of that air out. Okay. Bringing the breath back to normal. Bring your hands together at your heart center in prayer or namaskar. Slightly bow the head, an appreciation, an acknowledgement, and thanking yourself for dedicating the time to the practice today. For those who want to follow with me, rub your palms together, creating that prana, that life force. Feel the heat, bit of yogic heat. You've still got your eyes closed, so we're going to place our palms over our closed eyes. Feel that heat you generated. Flutter your eyes open or blink them open underneath your palms. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, rub those palms over your hair, your scalp, down your neck, your shoulders, down the lower back, down your thighs, across the front of your legs, and finally at your feet. Thanking your entire body for your practice today, for supporting you throughout the practice, and giving you that consistency to practice again tomorrow. Bring your hands together. Namaste. Third eye. Thank you very much. Namaste, guys. I hope people enjoyed that. All your feedback is very welcome. If you want anything, or you want to change anything, or any feedback whatsoever, greatly appreciated. Please send it through. Thanks so much.